Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Love Beneath podcast. I am your host, Minazia Sheikh Al Islami. This is Hermes. Like I've said many times, he writes the script for these, so if it doesn't make sense, it's because it was written by Kat. Today, I am talking about how to make the most of the rest of your 2025 as it pertains to do we have a significant astrological situation happening. So I need to talk about that. And I also need to say that I read a comment yesterday that said, I don't know a single person who said, wow, 2025 was a great year for me. And I'm sure there are people out there who would say that, but I think we can all agree that 2025 was super challenging in a lot of ways, both personally and globally. I'm very interested to talk about, okay, how can we work with this? Because it's not going away anytime soon. This is not a scenario of, okay, just hold out, it'll be good again. Those days are over. And I've always said this whole year, I have said 2025 is the year of truth. And that has held up. And so I want to bring you how you can have the most successful rest of your year and set yourself up for success come 2026. Before I get into anything else, if you're watching on YouTube, please like the video, subscribe, leave a comment. If you're listening, please follow the show. And what else? Write me a review. That'd be great. Okay. All jokes aside, we have Sun, Venus, and Mercury all in Scorpio. Mars was just in Scorpio, just left. So there's a lot happening there. And a quick breakdown. When someone has Sun in Scorpio / 8th house, that person is someone who does not want a fairy tale ending. They want the truth. Like when they watch a movie and it all wraps up perfectly, they're like, well, that was stupid. You know, they'll be on a date and instead of asking, oh, what is like your favorite childhood memory? They would say, what is your deepest, darkest secret? What's the worst thing you've ever done? They want to know, quote unquote, and what my teacher said, where the bodies are buried. They just want to know the nitty gritty darkness in the person. They don't want the bow on top. Like when I do a reading for someone or a chart reading or whatever, and they have significant Scorpio placement, I'm like, oh, let's go. Because I also want to dig deep into the truth of stuff, and I know that they're going to love it also. Venus in Scorpio, and sorry, I've said this before, but in case you haven't seen me say this before, a little bit X-rated, but my teacher would always say, if you see Venus in Scorpio or Venus in the 8th house, that person's freaky. That person they don't want the standard positions, if you know what I mean. They want to, not want to, but their soul finds God or the greater consciousness, the higher self, through romantic connection. I don't know if I can say the word. I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube. You know what I'm saying? They want to know someone in the biblical sense. You know what I mean? So they get a lot of connection through that. And you could also say that their spiritual journey really it helps that a lot. Romantic affairs. Now, Mercury with Scorpio or 8th house. And by the way, I don't know if this lines up with Western placements. Probably, but it's best if you line this up. Like if you're comparing it to your own chart, it's best if you compare it to your Vedic chart. And if you don't know your Vedic placements, you can book a link below. You can book a reading with me, or there's an option to just get your chart as well. So that you can follow along. So Mercury with the Scorpio energy, they want to uncover truth. They want to speak truth. They want to, it's like a journalist who has caught wind of something that doesn't quite sit right, and so that even though it's like, oh, don't go digging around there because that person's dangerous, and they don't care. Like the Scorpio Mercury or the 8th house Mercury is going to be like, I don't care. I need to know what the facts are with this, and I smell something off, and I need to figure out what that is. So it's a lot of seeking information. So if we bring all those together, and they might start fighting in a second because they don't like to share the bird's nest. All right. Anyway, she always wins out. She's half the size, and she won out when she was 2 pounds. She's feisty. All right. Anyway, so Sun in Scorpio is want to know at the deepest, want to know the truth, like not with your brain, like with your soul. Like I want to feel the truth of it. I want to like know it spiritually. Venus want to love deeply, right? The deepest you can love and know something, the deepest you can feel something. So we have soul craving depth, we have heart craving depth, and then Mercury, you know, the knowledge aspect. I want to know the deepest, darkest truth. So we have like soul, heart, mind, which I'm not saying Mercury represents the mind, but in this case, this energy coming together is basically every single aspect of us is wanting deep truth. Every single aspect of us is seeking the deepest knowledge of ourselves. Now, I think this is why most people would agree that 2025 was rough. And, you know, there's also highs, but the lows are low. That's what I've been seeing with a lot of people. There were a lot of highs, but the lows were really low. And why are we going low? What is Scorpio? What is the 8th house? That is like the deepest depths, right? The 8th house is like you go down into like the prison, not the prison, but you know, it's 8th house wants to dig. Scorpio wants to dig down, down, down. Scorpio's not going up to the heavens. Scorpio wants to go down, down, down. So you, all of us, we're feeling that. And that is so heightened right now, especially with that trio conjunct in that space. So what I have for everyone is let it happen. Let it happen. Don't fight what life is trying to show you. And I know that many of you have gone through significant pain, loss, heartbreak. And I do not want to diminish that. And I do not want to say, okay, but look at what it taught you. You know, that's not what I'm trying to bring you today. What I want to say is there is a light in even the darkest spaces. And so you're not meant to shift yourself into an outward projection of joy. You're meant to go down, 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 and sit with that pain and sit with the agony. I work with a lot of people, and a lot of people, you know, other end of the same coin of, I really wanted a bunch of things to happen this year and they didn't happen. So, you know, loss, disappointment on that side as well. And we are being asked, can you sit in everything that happened this year? And can you just, don't try to see anything. Don't try to feel anything. Don't try to feel better. Just sit and witness. And witness and witness and witness and witness. And it will start to change. And that is the power, in my opinion, of Scorpio energy, and specifically Sun being in Scorpio, is it lets you start to, it brings the light down to the depths. Now, I know obviously we're going to turn. Let me look at it with you in real time. So Sun is going to move to Sagittarius on the 16th of December. Venus will follow on the 20th. And then finally, Mercury will follow on the 29th. And then we will have a four-way conjunction in Sagittarius, Sun, Venus, Mars, Mercury, which that's going to be in a separate video. Obviously, I've been making a video for you before then. But so as of the 29th, the end of the year, that's going to be freaking awesome. But one thing I'll say right away about that is we're going from understanding the depths and the deepest truth of Scorpio, moving into Sagittarius, which is the theologian, which is the philosopher, which is the student, which is the guru, which is, you know, it's the house of Jupiter. Sagittarius, Jupiter is the ruler, and the 9th house is the house of, okay, you learned all that stuff. You dug and dug and dug and dug, and you found all that stuff. And now what do you make of that? What do you think about that? It's like you've got the information bundled, and then you're walking into Sagittarius, and then you put it all on the table, and Sagittarius is like, okay, so what do you make of all this? What's this about? So we're digging right now. So dig, dig, dig. So what I said earlier in the video, sit with the pain, sit with all of your feelings. Don't try to seek the good feelings. Sit with what is. And I know that's really hard to do. So I'm not saying you should just do that 24/7, do what's right for you. But especially if you're like me and you just love personal development and you're like, any chance you can get to go further on your spiritual journey, you want to take it. If you're like that, you really need to do this, especially. And just sit with it and test your ability to hold that space. Because what you're doing is you're training yourself to not look at our emotions as so one-dimensional. We're taught that we experience one emotion at a time. And so, oh, you're sad. Oh, that's bad. What can I do to make you feel better? Okay, people want to get you back to happiness. That's looking at emotions so one-dimensionally. Like we're allowed to feel a bunch of things at once. We're allowed to, and it's not a linear process. You can experience joy and you have sadness. Both. You can have 5 things at once. That's the power of the human. So we're really dumbing ourselves down and we're really dampening our power when we're looking at emotions as I'm feeling this and I don't like that and I want to get to here. Just open your capacity. Open. Feel it all. And say, oh, this sucks. Oh my God, but oh, it's good. And I'm only saying this because I know in my soul that the longer we say, I just want everything that I want it to go exactly how I want it to go, and I want all the good stuff, the more suffering we will experience. And there are certain things you can't control, obviously, but suffering, and this is, taking from Buddhism too, attachment to suffering. And the more you want to control and the more you want the outcome that you want, you're bringing suffering because life doesn't care what you want. Your higher self doesn't care what you want. There are desires, and you can feel those desires sometimes. And when you know it's a soul desire, you just know it's going to happen. So that's different than a want. But when you are trying to protect yourself from pain, and so you want a certain outcome, depending on your journey, and again, if you're interested in all of this, do a Vedic astrology reading with me because we can really see what your soul's mission is in terms of, is your soul seeking the greatest expansion in this life? Because if your soul is seeking the greatest expansion in this lifetime, you will never get the want. You'll get the desire, but you'll never get, your soul will not let you run from pain at all. Sometimes yes. So it just depends on certain stuff. But I think a lot of you know yourselves too, and you can probably take a guess at what life has thrown at you so far. So we're kind of working with a concept that soul and human work together. But the soul's got the bird's eye view. Higher self knows what's coming. And the human doesn't know everything. So it's very similar to the adult and the child. The child just wants to eat candy all day long every day. And the adult knows, if I let you do that, you're going to have a cavity in every tooth. You're going to have so many functional issues, right? It's not good for you. But the kid doesn't know that yet because they don't have enough life experience to really respect that truth and that wisdom. So the same thing, us as the child, we want. The higher self is saying, well, just hold on a second because you don't know what's happening in the future like I do. So just sit in it. So that's what I'm trying to say. Just sit in it. This Scorpio energy, see it as it's a dark well, and you're just going to fall down into the well and surrender. That, I think, is going to bring you and everyone and me and everybody the most success for the rest of the year. And then when we turn into Sagittarius, then we put all of our cards on the table and say, all right, let's see what I got here. All right, one more thing I need to say about the moon. So in Vedic astrology, we not only have the rashis, the zodiac signs, so we have nakshatras, which are significant stars or star formations within the zodiac sign or around the zodiac signs that we read charts with. And there are so many reasons why I love Vedic astrology, but nakshatras, they make the reading just so much more potent. It's so cool. I love it. And so the moon is going to be entering Chitra within Virgo. So the nakshatras go beyond the zodiac signs. So Chitra is part of Virgo and then part of Libra. So as the moon moves, it hits Chitra first, still in Virgo, then moves into Libra, still in Chitra, if that makes sense. So starting about 9 p.m. on Saturday, December 13th, she's going to enter Chitra while still being in Virgo. And then, let me keep moving. So then the night of December 14th, she will enter Libra and she'll stay in Chitra until the 14th at 11 p.m. So for that day, the night of the 13th to the night of the 14th, the moon will be in Chitra. Now, it's so significant because Chitra is known as the bright jewel. It's an energy that really shines a light and causes something to shine. So if you were born within the Chitra nakshatra, let's say, if you were born within that, you know, it can be very likely that you're someone who like really shines and people like really notice like how you shine. You're a bright jewel. And of course, other placements can have that and all sorts of stuff. But the moon is going to be there Saturday night to Sunday night. And I just feel like, and I won't be making, you know, my next video will be next Wednesday. So I want to say this to you now, that between those time periods, how can you shine? Connect with the moon. I would definitely go outside, look at the moon the night of, and then to the next morning. Like, look at the moon as much as you can between those time periods and see how you can also shine like that. Just really connect with that energy. I'm really feeling called to tell you that. So again, just depends on how spiritual you are and how you connect. Some people really feel connection to moon and planets and things, and some of you like more the karmic cycle aspect. So if you connect with astrology, I would really, really have eyes on the moon as much as you can, night of December 13th to night of December 14th. Okay, by the way, if you like these little tidbits, but you maybe are not interested in the full, because I do a weekly update like this on my membership platform, I am coming out with a different platform that's like a lower tier of the one that I have currently. And so you'll get a lot of these updates and transits and things beyond just this weekly video on Wednesdays. So if you're interested in that, be on the lookout. It's going to start January 1st. So I'll have that for you. Links to work with me are below and all that stuff. Thank you so much for watching the video. Leave a comment if it resonated with you. Yeah, that's it. I'll be back next Wednesday, but let me know, leave a comment and let me know if you looked at the moon from those times, because I would be really interested to see what happened for everybody. Okay, I love all of you so much. Thank you for being here week after week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.